What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite for a massive video here for you guys. Treyarch has finally revealed what DLC 2 is, new zombies content for Season 3 Reloaded, and even confirmation of at least 2 more round-based maps. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because about 70% of you that watch my videos aren't subscribed. So make sure you guys are getting notifications every time I update you on Black Ops Cold War. I can't believe we're a couple of days away from the mid-season update for Black Ops Cold War. I mean, time has really flown by. But also, thank you for tuning in to the new episode of Bombcast earlier this evening, episode 9, featuring 2 special guests, Eric Maynard and Caljitsu. If you guys missed that, I'll have the link to it down below in the description, and it's also available on all major audio platforms out there, iTunes, Spotify, and even some other ones. But it was a hell of an episode. We talked about quite a bit across the entire Call of Duty franchise, and even some spicy secrets about the current Dark Ether storyline. Hopefully you guys tune into that. But earlier this morning, we did get the Answer the Call teaser trailer for the 80 celebrity event beginning on May 20th for Warzone, Black Ops Cold War, and even COD Mobile. The roadmap and full trailer for this are more likely going to drop as soon as Monday, but you never know. We can get a surprise tomorrow with some banger marketing. I'm looking forward to the official Reloaded roadmap, which is going to reveal some other bonuses that haven't been announced as of yet. And on top of that too, we are getting John Rambo and John McClane in 3 different Call of Duty titles at once. I'm assuming they're going to be locked behind bundles, but if they're free through some type of Hunt for Adler-like event. But yesterday, Treyarch did tease a zombies-focused blog post, which didn't think we were going to see until early next week, but as usual, Treyarch pulled a fast one and decided to drop it this morning, which was really exciting. So they first released an image that says, "Look for my mark" from Ravenoff, with a confirmation that the first ever Outbreak main quest does go live at 10 a.m. Pacific on May the 20th, which means we'll be able to play and calmly enjoy the new content that's dropped for multiplayer, Warzone, even some other zombies bonuses without having to worry about the hunt for the Outbreak Easter egg until the following morning. So great timing on their end. And a beautiful image was then released of Orda taking a nice stroll over in the Ural Mountains, which confirms that Orda didn't die in the Firebase Easter egg, since Orda was the boss fight of that quest and also was featured as an assault wave after round 30. Orda just seemed to have snapped his or herself and is going to be coming back over an Outbreak, which has me real excited, and we'll talk more about Orda later in this video. But you'll see some background gameplay later on as well of Orda being killed pretty quickly with the PPSH over on Firebase Z. Hopefully you guys like that. We then got a shocking confirmation that we're not just getting 1, but we're getting 2 main quests added to Outbreak throughout the duration of Season 3 Reloaded and then the beginning of Season 4. So this has me pretty shocked, man. I was on the fence of saying that Outbreak's main quest is a 1 and done, but it might be a 2 and done. I mean, we'll see how this affects the future of Black Ops Cold War, but maybe there'll be more main quests added in later seasons too. It's just unclear, but I'm getting Black Ops 2 vibes from this, having 2 main quests on a single zombies experience. What does that remind you of, right? The Maxes and Richtofen sides we had during the Black Ops 2 Victus Easter egg. So let's see what happens with this. Either a Requiem versus Omega situation, or will one Easter egg follow the last one kind of all at once? I mean, we know one is dropping on May 20th, but the next one should be dropping at the start of Season 4, which that should be starting at around June 17th, a bit after that. So that's what we know right now about the next main quest. But yeah, whatever happens in this Outbreak Easter egg, like Craig mentioned in the broadcast, it's really going to set up the future of Black Ops Cold War as we know it. Take the story in a different direction that nobody expected it to go in. So I'm very excited about the future of Outbreak here. Now, what's crazy though is Treyarch then labeled Outbreak as DLC 2. This also blew my mind because it wasn't labeled as DLC 2 before when Outbreak released back in February, so they've changed their wording of how Outbreak works. Now it's officially DLC 2, and to be honest with you guys, once all is said and done with all the regions releasing, the main quest, the side Easter eggs, Outbreak as a whole will be the equivalent of an actual zombies map, if not more. I mean, seeing that Outbreak's probably going to have more side Easter eggs and then 2 main quests, which is far more than we got on Die Maschine and Firebase, then Outbreak will be something greater than a traditional zombies experience, but still qualifies as a quote-unquote DLC 2. This was likely done to prevent people from saying that there's only 3 DLC maps in Black Ops Cold War once the game season is over, right? It's looking like, yeah, we're going to get 3 total DLC zombies maps. One is Firebase, one is Berlin, and one more after that at some point later in Season 6. That's 3 DLC maps total, but you throw Outbreak in there as a quote-unquote DLC as well, then technically you did get 4 different DLC experiences added to Black Ops Cold War Zombies. So we'll talk more about that in a bit too, but you know, we have no idea if we're going to be seeing an ending cutscene after the main quest of Outbreak, and if that's the case, then yeah, it definitely fits the bill as a proper DLC too. But even without a cutscene, yeah, the amount of content going into Outbreak definitely does represent a true zombies experience. And this is subjective, disagree with that respectfully in the comments, but as of today, Outbreak is officially DLC 2. I know before, when Outbreak first released, I was one of those people that was saying that Outbreak is a separate entity, it's not DLC 2, and I still believe in spirit Outbreak is its own entity, but you know, if they call Outbreak DLC 2, then was Jingle Hell's DLC 1? But no, Treyarch first labeled Firebase as DLC 1, didn't say anything about DLC 2 when Outbreak first came out, so that's why I'm saying, yeah, Outbreak is something separate, but now that it's considered DLC 2, that makes Berlin DLC 3. Hopefully that makes sense, and Treyarch is still using the terminology of DLC, even though all maps are free and aren't locked behind map packs that they were back in the day. So we then got Treyarch fully acknowledging the zombies community, the toxicity, and even the zombies Reddit. So for those out there saying that Cold War is dead, it is confirmed by Treyarch themselves, the amount of players on Outbreak is neck and neck with the players on round-based experiences. So Outbreak has been pretty damn successful. As Activision even mentioned in their investors call, Outbreak has brought the zombies player count to levels they haven't seen in a long time, to new lengths. I mean, more people are playing zombies than ever. I would say a reason that plays into that is the fact that, yeah, zombies in Black Ops Cold War feels very similar to the gameplay we have in multiplayer, even in Warzone. If all the mechanics are relatively similar and everything feels very fluent and connected, more people are going to try other modes in the game. Look at Black Ops 3, for example. The jetpack multiplayer was drastically different from the zombies experience in that game, so you have a divided community with that. But here in Black Ops Cold War, the community is stronger than ever. Whether anybody likes it or not, whether you like Outbreak or not, Outbreak has been very damn successful. They call out the Reddit because, yes, people on Reddit seem to believe that their opinions reflect the entire community, and that is not the case, right? Different zombies players like different zombies objectives, different zombies maps, different Easter eggs, different experiences. Everybody is different, and zombies' opinions are, of course, subjective. So they also reiterated that fans did want an open world-like zombies experience. We can relate that back to what Nightmares was during Black Ops 3. When they confirmed there was a zombies-like campaign in that game, people flipped out, but in reality, Nightmares is really just a reskin of the Black Ops 3 campaign. So being able to see an open world zombies experience finally fleshed out is truly incredible, and they mentioned that Cold War was their first opportunity to make that happen. Even under the circumstances of the pandemic, they still made an open world zombies mode, which is mind-blowing to think about. So imagine when their next Call of Duty is likely going to be next-gen only, PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC, and don't have to worry about the hardware limitations of PS4 and Xbox One. They could probably make Outbreak even better. I mean, bigger than ever too, with an actual open world space, not regions and warping like we have here in Black Ops Cold War. So imagine the endless possibilities of where Outbreak can go in the future when they aren't held back by last-gen hardware. Outbreak is the future. I mean, I don't think round-based survival is going to go anywhere, but I think more focus will go into something like Outbreak when future Treyarch Call of Duties do release. It was then confirmed that on May the 20th, not only are we going to be seeing the Outbreak main quest added, we also have the Orda Encounter World event, so it'll probably be similar to the assault waves on Firebase, where every X amount of waves or surges, Order will pop up. Unless on Outbreak you have to go to a certain region, to a certain spot, and then Order will pop up that way, but I'm looking forward to that. I mean, imagine on an open world space like Outbreak, you know, driving a vehicle, running away from Tempest or Panzers or Manglers, then you have Order also stomping around trying to chase you too. That'll make Outbreak feel very damn hectic, and really would make it feel like a true zombies outbreak in a big open space. I mean, that could be some direct answers to the feedback Treyarch has gotten that, you know, Outbreak feels a bit empty, or it's just the fire team maps. I mean, Order could definitely pick up the pace quite a bit with that. They also confirmed fishing from Blackout is making its way over into Outbreak. So obviously, this will only be available on regions that contain water, and I'm assuming just like Blackout, you'll be able to reel in random items, right? In Blackout, you're able to reel in ray gun Mark IIs, bandages, trauma kits. So on Outbreak, I'm assuming you'll be able to reel in maybe a wonder weapon by chance, you know, some ether tools, some salvage. They also confirmed new intel documents, audio logs, radio transmissions, and even artifacts. So that's to be expected. They then confirmed Cranked 2, which is coming to both Firebase and Die Machina, and I'm glad they're bringing Cranked back. I mean, it was received pretty well when it released back during Die Machina's era, when that was the Prime Zombies map. We never got Cranked on Firebase, so this is going to be great. I'm just curious how Cranked is going to work with the Firebase assault waves, but they did mention mentioned that Cranked will be an LTM again once it releases on May 20th, and I'm like, why get rid of it? I mean, when it was out many months ago, it got received pretty well, so I get maybe removing it from the public matchmaking playlist so that you make room for other modes in playlists, but keep it in at least as a private option. If you want to go on with your friends at some point, you can set up a private game of Cranked. I mean, what's the harm in that? And I'm curious how Cranked could play on a map like Outbreak or an experience like Outbreak. We'll have to see how they can play around with that at some point in the future, but at the very least, we're going to see support for it over on Firebase. They then confirmed a new Silverback Sideways bonus map coming to Dead Ops Arcade 3 on May the 20th as well. Like I said before, I think it's incredible to see updates and post-launch improvements to Dead Ops Arcade 3. It definitely deserves the attention it's getting, and Dead Ops Arcade 2 and Black Ops 3 did get some updates every now and again after the launch of that game, but we also have the Onslaught Standoff experience dropping on May the 20th, so on top of Standoff itself releasing for 6v6 multiplayer, we're going to see it over in Onslaught, and we're also going to see the new LTM called Lotto Loadouts added to Onslaught. So I'm going to assume it's something like a weapon roulette challenge, or maybe every minute or every couple of surges, your weapon resets on you. Sounds fun, and it reminds me of that step from the 9 Gauntlet, where I think it was every 30 seconds or so, your weapon would change. So that's probably what this Onslaught LTM is going to be. And if you're missing out on this because you're not on PlayStation, then don't forget November the 1st is when Onslaught will release on Xbox and PC with loads of content, lots of maps, lots of LTMs. I'm really excited about that. I'm also hoping that Onslaught Containment doesn't go away once this Lotto Loadouts mode does release. We still haven't seen support for Onslaught Containment on Diesel and Mansion, so hopefully we get that this update as well. Like I said earlier, why get rid of LTMs? Just keep them in as private mode options so that if you missed out on the LTMs when they were added in publicly a couple of months ago, you can still experience them somehow, at least through private games. But they also mentioned a new challenge with an exclusive weapon blueprint reward coming to Onslaught on May the 20th. We saw this before in previous updates where you do a simple challenge like get through a certain amount of surges or kill 100 zombies or kill 10 elites, and you get your hands on a free weapon blueprint. So I'm hoping that in the future we end up getting a cool looking reactive or even a mastercraft for doing one of these Onslaught challenges. I mean, it will be exclusive to PlayStation, but something worthwhile to actually grind for. So let's see what happens with that. We then got confirmation of several big zombies features coming to Black Ops Cold War that were requested, as well as some big quality of life improvements to the weapons and even high rounds. So first off, new weapons coming to the Mystery Box and Trial rewards in round-based maps and Outbreak do include the Groza Assault Rifle, the MAC-10, Street Sweeper, Farah, LC-10, R1 Shadowhunter, the ZRG Sniper, the Sledgehammer melee weapon, the Wakizashi, the Machete, and even the E-Tool melee weapon. So all those weapons were pretty heavily requested to be added to the Mystery Box or even Trials, and they never made an appearance, but finally they've addressed that, and it is going to be a thing with Season 3 Reloaded. They're also adding in custom mod support, finally, so bring custom blueprints into zombies via the Apply Blueprint feature, create multiple configurations for every weapon in the game, and apply your custom mods to all weapons found in a game session. So people weren't happy when they added the Apply Blueprint feature to zombies about a month and a half ago, but there was an option to apply custom-made blueprints where you mixed and matched attachments across different blueprints in the game. That's already in multiplayer, but it's finally coming to zombies. We then have a new Zombies Outbreak map feature with free cursor support and the ability to ping the overhead map, just like we have in Warzone. And this is huge because pinging is useful on co-op, of course, to mark certain items, tell your teammate where something is, but on solo, being able to ping your actual mini-map is helpful so you can know where you want to go and have some directions and some guidance of a certain location on the map. And we have this in Warzone already, so why not have it in Zombies? Can't wait to see this. We have zombie-specific weapon tuning to increase the overall power of the Black Ops Cold War arsenal. So they're putting a blanket across every weapon in Black Ops Cold War, and they're going to say, you know what, we're just going to increase the power of all these weapons in the game, and this is pretty shocking, so I'm looking forward to that. They didn't mention new weapon unlock challenges for the baseball bat and the AM63 machine pistol, but it says in season, so I'm assuming that means it won't be a thing on May the 20th with Season 3 Reloaded. We're going to have to wait till maybe a week or two after Reloaded does drop to see these weapons added into zombies, so we have to be patient with that one. But they mentioned rebalancing zombies' health at high rounds and scaling self-revive costs to provide a greater challenge and higher stakes for skilled zombies players. So for those out there saying that Cold War Zombies is too easy, high rounds are a joke, just you wait until you see this improvement after May the 20th, right? High rounds are about to get a hell of a lot harder, which sounds pretty damn crazy. They're also going to be buffing the Pack-a-Punch ZRG bullet penetration to affect multiple zombies. I heard a lot of outcry about that one. They've reduced health for the Demented Echo and Outbreak, and new gameplay improvements and bug fixes are coming to Dead Ops Arcade 3. So for the weapon tuning front, as they mentioned, they want to make sure things are balanced. They're going to increase the power of all the weapons in the game, then they're going to make high rounds harder. I think it's a nice trade-off, but let's just see how high rounders respond to this as soon as next week. They also mentioned they've heard fan requests for a challenge tracker on the pause screen, so they're working on doing that in the future for zombies challenges, daily challenges, and even operator missions. Hopefully that includes camo progression as well, just to see where you're at. I mean, I think it's silly we don't have a tracker for some of these challenges in zombies yet. Luckily, they are on top of that. We'll be working on it at some point in the future. They're also planning on making Dead Wire Tier 5 more formidable against large groups of zombies once again. So keep an eye out for their blog post, more details on everything listed above. So yeah, at one point, Dead Wire was pretty much a Wunderwaffe in the form of an AAT, and they nerfed it understandably so you can use other AATs in the game and not be too overpowered like with a Wunderwaffe when using Dead Wire, but they're going to revert some of those changes. We might end up going back to the same Dead Wire we had a couple of months ago in a future update, so let's just wait and see. But looking ahead, in Season 4 and future updates for Black Ops Cold War Zombies, as they reiterated in their blog post, their next round-based zombies map is planned to release during Season 4, presumably Berlin, and will take place after the events of Outbreak's main quest. That's plural. So if there wasn't a second main quest coming to Outbreak, I would have went out on a limb and said, okay, Berlin might drop towards the end of Season 3. If the map is far along in development and almost complete, they might drop it a bit early, like Firebase, right? That map was planned for Season 2 and dropped Season 1 Reloaded instead. But because there are 2 Outbreak main quests, it looks like it's solidified. Yeah, they weren't bluffing. Berlin isn't going to drop until the very next season. So they then said the team has been hard at work on the next Zombies map since before the release of Firebase. We want to make it the best experience it could possibly be before it's finally in your hands. That should hopefully mean that Berlin, or DLC 3, whatever the map is called, will have plenty of side quests, a banger main quest, and hopefully some juicy experiences that we haven't seen before in a zombies map, right? If it is Berlin, then maybe we could see a city-like experience, kind of like Shadows of Evil, but this time with actual civilians on the map. We could see this big outbreak happening with Ordas and giant monsters making their way into a big city. We could see a massive scaled zombies map that may have been teased already in the calling cards for Season 3 of Black Ops Cold War. But looking further ahead, development is already underway on more zombies content for future seasons. In addition to that new content, players can expect new perks, wonder weapons, support weapons, limited time modes, and Dark Ether story intel along the way. We appreciate everyone's patience while we continue development on our next map, and hope you have a blast with all the other zombies content coming in the meantime. So, looking at the gap between Firebase and DLC 3, Berlin, that's a pretty large gap, right? Firebase Z came out on February 4th. If Berlin doesn't drop until Season 4 Reloaded, that's going to be presumably late July. And if we do some math here, that's just assuming that Season 4 will last as long as Season 3, about 55 days. Our Reloaded update drops presumably about 30 plus days after the start of a season. So if Season 4 begins on June 17th, according to the in-game Battle Pass right now, about 35 days after that point, which is roughly when the mid-season update would be, is about July 22nd. That's a Thursday. That's quite a while away. So to look at that gap from Firebase Z February 4th to July 22nd, that's nearly 160 plus days. The largest gap in Call of Duty Zombies history from one map to another. But now they're considering Outbreak DLC 2, so it gives them an excuse to say, alright, there was content and a DLC dropped in between Firebase and Berlin. It's just a bit different. So we're going to see 2 main quests on Outbreak. Does that fill the gap between Firebase and Berlin? I think it can. If the Easter eggs are bangers, if the LTMs are fun, I think it's alright. Would you rather have had them release 4 traditional zombies map with a season pass, right? You know, 1 every 3 months. Or would you rather have had something a bit different where they did Firebase as DLC 1, they have Outbreak as DLC 2, which kind of stretches across February to almost July, and then they can wrap up the Cold War Zombie season with 2 more maps after that. The reason I say there's at least 2 more maps, because the way this blog post is worded is that even after DLC 3, there'll be at least 1 more round-based map after that. That's the way this blog post sounds. I'd be shocked if we only end up with the Machina, Firebase, Outbreak, and then Berlin. I don't think that's it. We're going to see at least 4 DLC drops. Whether Outbreak counts as DLC 2 or not, we'll at least see, 3 other standalone survival maps aside from the Machina. So this goes back to the beautiful Wunderfizz theory that I talked about in a previous Zombies video. So if the Wunderfizz machine is showing us we have at least 3 more perks coming to the game, and we know that a new perk only releases with a new Zombies map, then does that mean we're getting at least 3 more survival maps where a new perk machine could be located on each one of them? And that could be the case, but I'm going to go out on a limb again and reiterate a point that the wonderful Eric Maynard said earlier on the podcast. If we're going to be seeing double tap, mule kick, and PhD, sure, that's fine. The leaks do support that. maybe Mule Kick just won't have a perk machine, which means we'll see the double tap machine over on Berlin, presumably. So there you go, new perk machine, new zombies map, and then we'll see one more map after that with, let's say, PhD on it. And right, PhD is a great perk to end off the Black Ops Cold War zombie season. It makes the game a lot easier, so PhD makes sense as the perk to kind of wrap up the story on, or the season of content on. Mule Kick doesn't really need its own perk machine, right? They can still do 5 tier upgrades for Mule Kick that you can unlock with crystals, but they might not give it its own perk machine. So that checks out, right? You see double tap or something on Berlin as its own machine, then you could see Page D as the perk machine on DLC 4 to wrap up the season, and then Mule Kick could release at any point going forward over in the Wunderfizz machine when maybe one of the Outbreak main quests release. That's a really strong theory right now as to how the Wunderfizz could explain future zombies content in Black Ops Cold War, but that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. We finally got confirmation of what DLC 2 actually is, which is Outbreak. We got some juicy information about upcoming zombies content in Season 3 Reloaded, and we also got the pretty big hint that we're going to see at least 2 more round-based maps after the release of the Outbreak main quest. Really hope you've enjoyed. Leave our thoughts down below, and peace out, everyone.